I'm LP Master 6, and welcome to the 83rd Let's Play on this channel. Bet you're wondering, ooh, what system is this? Well, it's the Virtual Boy. And normally it shows 4 VBs in the corners, but we're only seeing it through one of the 2 eyes. This is not a 3D video because I couldn't figure out how to make that work, and we are going to leave automatic pause on, and we'll talk about that, I guess, in a minute. But you're probably wondering, ooh, what Virtual Boy game is this? Oh! Epic! It's Mario's Tennis, not to be confused with Mario Tennis, released for the Nintendo 64 and Game Boy Color in 2000. This is not the first tennis game to feature Mario, like a lot of articles like to say. It's actually at least the second, because Mario was the referee in Tennis for the Game Boy. This is also usually regarded as the first entry in the Mario Sports franchise. But Mario's first sports game where he's playable is golf. And even if you don't count that, there's Mario Open Golf, known here as NES Open Tournament Golf. So this game really doesn't set that much of a precedent. Though it did start the Mario Tennis series, so I'll give it that. And the demo seems to be randomized every time, because this is like my 5th take, and this is like the 5th demo I've seen. We'll just, I guess we'll get it right into the game. Okay, this game was known as Mario's Dream Tennis in development and in pre-release materials. This was also the pack-in title for the Virtual Boy. And in North America, I don't think the Japanese Virtual Boy had one. And in Europe, the Virtual Boy never came out because it was a gigantic flop. But we'll get to that in a minute. I chose singles here. I guess we'll go ahead and do a tournament, because there's not much of a reason to play the game otherwise, you know, just to do a single match. There's not like completion criteria I have to do or anything. I'm just going to try to beat a tournament. But I guess we'll just play as regular old Mario, and that selection sprite right there is based on the Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coin sprite. Oh, and you can actually, I think... Okay, never mind. I don't know how. The manual said you can change like who plays in the tournament, but I'm not so sure. So, like I said, we are seeing this through one of the eyes, but the Virtual Boy actually uses 2 different screens, sorta? That's not exactly how it works. It's 2 lenses. But I found that unappealing to look at if you're not actually using a Virtual Boy to look at it. And I am emulating the system, and I'm doing different colors. Most people think the Virtual Boy's red and black, like we're seeing it right now. It's not. It's closer to like pink and black. But I thought the red and black was easier on the eyes. And I'm not going to be that great at this. 1, because I'm just not good at the game. And 2, because I'm only seeing this through one eye. But I do own an actual Virtual Boy. So shout out to my sister's ex-boyfriend who gave me one in 2012 when I was 13. He said I could borrow it. But then he broke up with my sister. So he hasn't asked for it back. It's not like he was ever going to use it. Actually, I need to buy a new... cord for it, because the cord was chewed up by mice when I still lived at my parents'. Presumably, something chewed the cord, and it wasn't the dog or the cat. So shout out to Biscuit and Q-Tip. So you saw there were 7 characters, and that's pretty weird, huh? Because normally there's an even number. It's all the characters in Super Mario Kart except Bowser. So you might think, ooh, Bowser was planned for development, but no! There was an 8th character planned for development, Birdo, presumably because there's unused text along with the rest of the character's text in the font of the game that says Cassarin, C-A-S-S-A-R-I-N. And that is an alternate romanization of Birdo's Japanese name, Catherine. And that would have been interesting. And you might think also that set a precedent for Birdo coming back in later games, but Birdo already came back in Wario's Woods. And I assume that was because of Super Mario All-Stars coming out. The stereo sound is actually pretty good. And the soundtrack's not stellar, and to be perfectly honest, the game's not stellar. It's highly regarded as a good tennis simulation from the 90s. One article calls this the only decent stab at tennis prior to Virtua Tennis, which was released in what, 2000? I don't remember. But this is one of the few tennis games I've ever played where you can't, like, just mash A to serve. You have to let it fall back down or you'll get a fault and then a double fault and then you'll lose points. And I was terrible at this before practicing quite a bit. Not that much. I can only stomach so much tennis without talking or doing something on the side, like having a really good conversation or listening to not this music. I mean, I like this music, but, you know, it's not, there's not a song on the soundtrack I just go crazy for. I mean, I'm sure you get what I mean. Oh, nice! Go Mario! And for those who want to know how this game works, it works apparently a lot like regular tennis. So if you're used to Mario sports games that have a lot of wacky stuff like Super Mario Kart does, sorry. This is just tennis with Mario characters. I will give a compliment where it's due with everybody's tennis outfits. It's kind of hilarious to see the characters in tennis attire. I heard comments like that, especially like Mario with short sleeves and Mario in different outfits, how people thought it was funny because it doesn't fit. And I didn't get that as a kid, but now I do. Come on. I won't explain tennis rules to you, but I think it's so bizarre, and the manual explains it pretty well. Because this game went on forever the first time I played it, which was like a few weeks ago. Oops. I was just like, why is the set not over, the match or whatever? So essentially, standard tennis operates in 3 sets, a minimum like 3 or 5 sets, which is 6 games. And I'm not honestly sure what a match is, but I say 6 games, but it's at least 6 games because in order to win a set, the winner not only has to have at least 6 points, they have to be 2 points ahead of their opponent, which is really weird. I should have done a doubles tournament. Oh well, I guess we'll do 2 tournaments. I mean, why not? Show off more of the game. There's different backgrounds, and honestly, like, people shit on the Virtual Boy for hurting their head. It never hurt mine. I didn't play it that much. I mean, I didn't have this game, but I think it looks really cool. People say it's not true 3D, but technically, you know, on that level, the 3DS isn't true 3D, nor is the 64 or any other game system that's come out. Of course, I get what they're saying here. This is just 2D sprites in a 3D playing field, essentially, but half of the Nintendo 64's assets were 2D sprites in a 3D playing field. But I guess we can talk about the Virtual Boy. Oh wait, hold on. I did have another neat fact about this game. So I was reading a GameFAQs article because I thought this would be the type of game that'd be fun to read a GameFAQs FAQ on, not article. Alright, somebody was talking about this FAQ was from 2002. And the guy was talking about how he's heard rumors, but there doesn't seem to be a way to unlock Wario, as rumored, or Rush. And I was like, Rush? Who the hell is Rush? So I Mario wikied it, I think, and I'm like, there's no Mario character named Rush that I've ever heard of. And then I finally realized Mega Man's dog? Like, that's the only video game character or character at all I can think of. Because I'm sure they're not talking about the Canadian band Rush, right? But, yeah, just 7 characters. This game was rushed. So was the Virtual Boy. This game was supposed to have multiplayer, but it was going to be not DLC exactly, but it was going to pop up whenever a link cable linking 2 Virtual Boys was plugged in. But none of those were ever released. They don't exist. Hackers have made them exist, and I didn't look into the hacking thing for this game because, like, the hacking scene, there's a huge Virtual Boy hacking scene. So I recommend anybody check it out because it's pretty cool. I haven't really played anything they've had to offer, but this song is actually pretty good. It's been the same song that's playing, but it just keeps getting better as I listen, I guess. Yeah, that seems to happen a lot. The AI doesn't really know what they're doing on easy. Oh, that's another thing I gotta talk about the game, the character differences. But, yeah, Virtual Boy sales were not good. The Virtual Boy was completely rushed. Gunpei Yokoi made it as a final send-off because he wanted to leave Nintendo to go do other things, including create the WonderSwan and WonderSwan Color, which he later did. So he was very interested in this company that had developed this 3D technology. And that was in '93 that they started work on that. The same year that work started on Project Reality, which at this point, in 1995, where we are in our timeline here, in case you've never seen me before, I'm LP Master 6 and I play games relevant to the original Super Smash Bros. In order of release date. Oh boy, 1 point to go, and Luigi hasn't gotten a single point yet. My wife is deciding to vacuum? It's fine! Sorry, she was dust busting, but this is what the pause screen looks like. And it's over. Oh, I'm serving now. Oops, I forgot. So, Gunpei Yokoi was impressed with the Virtual Boy's technology, so they developed that. That's right. I was saying that Project Reality is now known as the Ultra 64, which we later came to know as the Nintendo 64. So, there's that. But this was mainly a side project to hold people over until the Nintendo 64 would come out. This wasn't ready when it came out, and Gunpei Yokoi kept telling Hiroshi Yamauchi and the other higher-ups at Nintendo that it wasn't ready. But they were seemingly not listening and released it anyway. And almost none of the games were ready. I mean, this is just a bare-bones basic tennis game. It works, and I guess it shows off the 3D, but honestly, it's not a good launch title for... You need a big action game to show you the 3D capabilities. That's what I think, at least. I mean... God, I love that Donkey Kong Jr. sprite. Also, it's especially weird having Donkey Kong Jr. in a game right now because Donkey Kong Country has already come out. But they just both exist at the same time, even though Donkey Kong is all grown and he's Donkey Kong Jr.'s son. Because I've done some digging, more digging since my Donkey Kong Country Let's Play. Yeah, Cranky Kong was never Donkey Kong's father. I thought that for years. I thought Nintendo just retconned it later in like 2010. Nope. Donkey Kong Jr. is just a deadbeat dad who's out playing tennis with Mario. But oh well. So, interesting fact. Nintendo punished Gunpei Yokoi for the failure of the Virtual Boy. They blamed him for it, even though it was never his fault, because they rushed it. Which is a very non-Nintendo thing to do. They just were really behind on what they had promised for the Nintendo 64. And all the big guns, except for Yokoi, were working on Nintendo 64 games. So at trade shows where they were showing off the Nintendo 64, they made Yokoi sit in a corner and show off the Virtual Boy. Yamauchi was kind of a dick. So to make his last effort not a failure, so people wouldn't think Yokoi was leaving just because of the Virtual Boy's failure, he stayed for a little bit longer and designed the Game Boy Pocket, and then resigned 2 weeks after the release of the Game Boy Pocket. Went on to a different company, developed the WonderSwan and WonderSwan Color, which were huge successes in Japan. And right before the WonderSwan Color's release, he was hit by a semi-truck. Or at least a truck of... No, he was hit by a car. After his friend rear-ended a semi-truck and he got out to see if the truck driver was okay. So yeah, his life was kind of sad. And it really pisses me off, that story about how they treated Yokoi after the Virtual Boy, because Nintendo would kind of be nothing without Gunpei Yokoi. So this Let's Play is dedicated to him. And JB, my sister's ex-boyfriend from 10 years ago, who gave me the Virtual Boy. I'm playing this on Midnafen? I've never tried to pronounce it out loud. The auto pause. I was going to talk about that. I turned it on to showcase. It won't ever... Like, you assume that's a terrible idea, but they actually thought ahead. It will only show up in moments like that. It will not happen during a point. And it's only every, like, 10 minutes of actual gameplay? I'm not sure, though. Because we're 17 minutes into the video now. Now, I thought it was supposed to be every 5 minutes. But, hey, I'm not going to complain. God, I should have started on normal difficulty. Oh, well, we'll do that for doubles. Another thing about the game, the only character differences right now in easy and normal difficulty are the movement speed. So playing as Mario is kind of a... Like, you're at a disadvantage because Toad can move quickly. The difference is the bigger characters, especially Donkey Kong Jr., are supposed to have bigger racket sizes. Like, it's easier for them to hit the ball. Of course, Toad and Koopa and, I guess, Yoshi have better, like, diving for the ball speeds, which is really cool to see. I don't even know if Mario can dive for the ball. You know, I've never really had to try that out. But, I mean, if you like tennis, this is a game for you. If you don't like tennis, don't play this game. I don't mean physical tennis. I mean including video games, because I think I suck at physical tennis. I don't know if I've ever played it, though, to be perfectly honest. I don't have any distinct memories, because I think tennis is the most boring sport of all time. Like, people think golf is. I disagree. Tennis is boring and convoluted. Like, why can't the points just be 1 to 5? Why does it have to be love 15, 30, 40, and, you know, then deuce and advantage? What? I get the fault in the net, in the in and the out, but fault is a weird name. Everything has weird terminology. Tennis is stupid. Whoever designed tennis is hopefully rotting in hell. Sorry, I don't believe in hell. But I mean, okay, if I did, I would want them to go to purgatory. That's what I would want. Also, I don't know how these tournaments work, if they're like... Is the AI getting more difficult the farther we go? Because I doubt it. I think there's just the 3 AI difficulties. I honestly don't know. There's not that much of a, you know, huge fan base for this game to find out. This is often regarded as the worst Mario Tennis game, and that's perfectly fair. It is a serviceable game and really not that bad. It's just, think of all the other launch titles they've had for Nintendo systems, especially Mario launch titles. I mean, you had Donkey Kong for the NES, for the Famicom, for the NES in America, in Europe, Super Mario Brothers, you know, which was the best-selling game of all time until 2006. Single-handedly, okay, no, that's not entirely true, but it was the #1 game that, you know, recovered the video game market in America after the video game crash of 1983, sorry. And then for the Game Boy, Super Mario Land was the big Mario title at launch. Then Super Mario World. And now Mario's Tennis? Really? God, I love the tennis outfits, though. And you get that nice shot of Mario's ass. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought thinking about Mario's ass. I am kind of seeing the top of the screen in double because the way I'm recording this. But, yeah, I can only see one of the lenses right now. And that's really not making things that difficult. I just wish there was an easier, like a 2D, 3D toggle like there is on the 3DS for the Virtual Boy. And also, people under the age of 7 years old are not supposed to play the Virtual Boy according to Nintendo. That's because the lenses, if they move, they could turn you blind if you're that young because your, you know, retinas or whatever, I don't know, haven't developed fully. But Nintendo actually made it impossible for the lenses to move by, you know, keeping them behind a glass case. They just wanted to cover all their bases legally, I guess. So there's another Virtual Boy fact for you. If you want good Virtual Boy facts, I'm sure there's plenty of Did You Know Gaming videos. I haven't caught up with Did You Know Gaming because I don't want any Metroid Dread spoilers. And, you know, I've just been listening to music instead of game facts in the car, which is bizarre for me, but, you know, it's all music I've listened to 1,000 times, so that makes sense. You know, Nirvana. For those who have heard me talk before, most of what I listen to is Nirvana related, or at least, you know, grunge. This is a different song, right? No, there's a surprising amount of songs in the game. 2 unused tracks, too, or at least, okay, well, the guy who uploaded the soundtrack on YouTube that I watched said there were 3 originally, but then turns out there was a use in the game for the 3rd track. But we'll get there. There is no completion criteria. I think I said that before, so we're just kind of play, which is good because tennis. There's only so much you can do. The novelty here is that this is a Virtual Boy game, and you know, honestly, I was prepared to kind of shit all over this game, but it's pretty fun. I mean, while you're talking over it, it's not exciting by any means because it's tennis, but you know, especially if you're playing in 3D, it's pretty good. I had a few other things to talk about. Hold on.